All right, guys, this is a perfect example of when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. It's our obligation to resist those things that are unjust. And if caging a man for asking questions at a city hall is justice, then we're in some serious trouble. I don't know if you're familiar with it, formerly Let's Exchange IDs with Travis Hines. It's now State of Missouri versus Travis Hines YouTube channel. And I'm going to show you that in a second. But let me go through 3 laws that law enforcers are supposed to apply to themselves and obey. The first one is 18 USC 241, conspiracy against rights. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically what it says is if 2 or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution. Basically, those people shall be fined or imprisoned or both, or may be sentenced to that right there. 18 USC 242 is deprivation of rights and says similarly, whoever under color of any law, it's like, I don't care what you make up. I don't care how fancy you make it sound. I don't care if you call it a law. Whoever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, or possession or district to the deprivation of any rights, including asking questions, including trying to gather information from City Hall. Yeah, deprivation of those rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution of the United States says the exact same thing. Can be imprisoned or fined under this title or both, or may be sentenced to you know what. That's how seriously violating your oath is supposed to be. You should never come near violating somebody's rights or depriving them of their rights or conspiring against their rights. Because if you do, it's so serious, you'll be fined or imprisoned or both, or maybe, if it's serious enough, subjected to death. In other words, you don't take away somebody's rights unless they've committed a crime. And then, of course, that goes back to, and the reason I talk about 18 USC 241 and 242 is because it's in concert and agreement with natural law. It's just right to do that. It's just right to apply justice to someone who's been unjust to another person. Constitution of the United States under Amendment 4 says the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause. Probable cause of what? That a crime has been committed. Not because somebody was uncomfortable or somebody felt like they were being harassed when they never told the guy to leave. We're going to look at that in a second. And no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Very clear. So now we get to Travis Hines. Travis Hines on the 2nd of November was passing through a place called Bethany, Missouri. That's just north of me. And he went into the city hall to ask questions because he was concerned about the 2-hour parking. He didn't want to exceed that. He didn't want to fine. He didn't want to, confrontation with the police. And here's what, you know what? Let me show you, before I show you the probable cause affidavit and the case that they launched against him, let me just show you this first 8 or 9 minutes where he actually gets arrested for asking a question and trying to get clarification on 2-hour parking signs. Look at this. This is taken from his necklace GoPro body cam hanging around his neck, and I'll let you be the judge of what you see in this video.
Excuse me, visitor here. Should I go through the window? I don't know if you normally keep the door open or whatever. Oh, you got a cat? Okay, at City Hall.
Hi, can I help you?
Well, yeah, I'm having difficulty with the parking.
What do you mean with the parking?
Where's the sections for the 2 hours? Because I'm a little confused. I was going to choose some spots around the library. I want to go to the library, but
What I'd like you to do is pay real close to the attention to this interaction, because we're going to read her response to how this was. We're going to read the police report. We're going to read the call. This is, her name is Amber. She works for City Hall in the city of Bethany. You can see it back here on the back of the wall. But pay real close attention to this interaction, because we're going to read her testimony on how she says things went down that leads to Travis's arrest.
there's these 2-hour parking spots, and I don't know, it's just really difficult to, oh, you got the door's normally not open, huh? But I'm having difficulty with the parking situation. Does anybody ever have problems with parking around here?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel very unique in that matter, because I'm really
I'm really confused.
Yeah, I want to go to the library, and
You can go to the library.
okay. Well, yeah.
Garage
But
parking over there?
I might stay a little longer than 2 hours in my spot, and I just
There is a garage parking over there.
garage parking,
It's covered parking.
covered parking.
Have you
Like-
been over by the library?
Well, yeah, I drove on the left side of it, going down the main street. I think I was going this way, and I saw the library on my right side, and I was like looking, and I passed it, and I was looking for like parking around it, and it's really, I mean, I'm seeing it's really, people are parking on the sidewalks, but I'm seeing there's 2-hour parking.
I don't believe that they're parking on the sidewalk.
Yeah, well, I could take pictures. You want to see pictures? You don't.
That is not part of my forte. That has nothing to do with me.
Oh, who should I be? Who? Can you direct me to the person I need to talk to about the parking situation?
Well, if you have a problem with the
Yep.
parking situation,
Yeah, because I don't know. 'Cause I'm parked right in front of City Hall.
I can tell you.
Is that a problem with the 2-hour parking in front of City Hall?
I don't know where you keep coming up with this 2-hour parking.
I saw 2 signs. Do you need me to show you a picture of that?
No.
Because I've seen 2 signs that say 2-hour parking from 7 a.m. to 5 or something.
I'm yeah. Because I'm like exceedingly confused.
This is where later we find out a coworker off camera asks her, "Hey, should we call the cops?" And she says, "Yeah, because I'm confused."
But
So what I'm trying to explain to you is
yeah.
there is, the square is one way around. It's one way.
Yeah, and that too. That's wow. I almost went the wrong way. Shh. Well, I'm just telling you.
I understand what you're saying. It's one way.
You-
I'm explaining
you-
to you.
you wanna get your thoughts
what
out?
the information is. And on the west side of the square, or from the
Courthouse, right next to it. Is it okay? Is there any limit to the parking right here?
there is,
On this, right in front of your building. I mean, it's open, but I mean, I don't.
there is a covered parking spot. If
Yeah,
you
but that's
go
probably
to the library.
that's probably for library only too. That could, you know.
No, sir, it's not.
It's public. Okay, so it's not just library parking. It's public parking.
Correct.
Okay, I'll walk over there and look. But what about in front here? I mean, if I keep my car.
Well, we normally keep the spaces in front for people who are coming in and paying their utility bill.
Yeah.
There, across the street from us, is a parking lot.
There's a parking lot right across there? Okay.
Yes, that's behind the TJ Wholesales and the sheriff's office.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a Red Cross trailer in there. Is that?
I don't know if there is or isn't. I
Oh,
haven't
because
looked
there's a really
Now, at this point, it does seem like if you're looking at it from her perspective, from Amber's perspective, that Travis seems like he's confused. His thoughts are scattered. So I can see how she would think that about him, but is being confused and having scattered thoughts a crime? Worthy of being arrested, worthy of being thrown into a cage, worthy of being fined 500 and something bucks.
it looks like it's not kept up really well. It's like gravel, more like gravel, a space of gravel that
Are
got.
you pranking me right right now, or are you really serious?
I don't
I'm
think
just asking.
I get the impression you don't realize how bad the streets are and the parking is. Then you're not really you're not
Where are
really.
you from?
Well, the north. I've been in several cities from the north, and I mean the parking's a lot better up north in those cities that I've been to.
Okay, so the cops just walked.
Called, or you get
the cops. That's a cop right there. He's a deputy. The deputy just walked through the door, probably not 2 minutes after we realized that the police have been called. So that was a pretty fast response time.
here for me.
Yeah, we're here for you.
Okay, all right.
I'm not
You wanna
understanding
direct-
if he's pranking me, if he's pulling my leg, or if there's something wrong. He's very concerned about the parking, and we're gonna get a photo. We've got a GoPro on our chest, so we're obviously
Hey,
recording.
why don't you have a seat right here?
Have a seat.
Yeah.
What's
We're
it?
gonna go talk to them in the back and find out what's going on.
All right. Well, just all right. Yeah, because you didn't hear the conversation, so.
No, but we'll talk to you too, so.
Bethany, I don't think Bethany, Missouri is the fitness capital of the world. Now, since we just saw that interaction and it's fresh on our mind, let me show you this probable cause affidavit right here. Now, remember, an affidavit is a written promise. It's a written statement confirmed by oath or affirmation for use as evidence in court. Here's the affidavit of the interaction we just saw. No edits happened during the course of the recording since from the time before he hit the front door to the interaction to the time the cops showed up. That's everything. So listen to what the affidavit says. Officer Harris, knowing that false statements on this form are punishable by law, states the facts contained herein are true. I have probable cause to believe that on or about 11/2/2021, Travis Hines committed the offense of count 1 harassment, 2nd degree, and count 2 public peace disturbance. Did we see anything about, was there any harassment? At any point, did Amber on the other side of the desk request that Travis Hines please leave me alone? Not at all. I don't see how you can pin a harassment or a disturbing the peace charge on this guy. So let's look at a little bit more of this right here. It says the facts supporting this belief are as follows. At approximately 9:21 hours, Officer Harris was dispatched to Bethany City Hall and gives the location due to Travis Hines being irate and confrontational with employees. This is a sworn, written affidavit. Hines was irate and confrontational with employees. Did anybody see irate and confrontational? Statements collected from the employees state Hines was inquiring about parking around the square and stated he had a problem with 2-hour parking signs because he might want to stay longer. Hines kept talking over the employees, not letting them answer. Maybe there's some interruptions. Is that a crime worthy of caging a human being? His questions and began to get more confrontational. The employees were worried for their safety and well-being since they were unable to calm Hines down. They were unable. First of all, there is no they. The only interaction he had with any of the employees at Bethany City Hall was with Amber on the other side of the desk. And I didn't see any uncalm Hines. And they called for law enforcement to assist them. I made contact with Hines at the door of City Hall. I noticed that he had a GoPro camera hanging from his neck, and he was also recording with his phone. Hines stated it was him I was there for and continued to complain about 2-hour parking signs and wanted to know where he could park without being cited for it. So far we have a lie in this sworn affidavit. I asked Hines for his ID. Well, we'll see that, and we'll see that part in a second. This is the actual charge brought against him. State of Missouri versus Travis William Hines. The defendant, Travis Hines, is in violation of this section right here. Committed a Class A misdemeanor of harassment in the 2nd degree. Harassment in the 2nd degree. Did you see harassment in the 2nd degree? Punishable upon conviction under these sections right here. In that honor, about November 2nd, 2021, in the County of Harris, state of Missouri, the defendant, without good cause and with the purpose to cause emotional distress, so they're actually levying a charge against his motive, to the city of Bethany administrative staff members engaged in confrontational behavior with a raised voice, repeated the same series of questions despite being given clear responses to his request for information, becoming animated with overly exaggerated gestures, with behaviors escalating until a request for assistance from law enforcement was made. He wasn't even involved in the conversation with Amber for more than a minute and a half before they called law enforcement. And there was no confrontational behavior and raised voice. And even if there was confrontational and raised voice, she never once said, "Please leave me alone. I feel like you're harassing me." So let's watch some more of this right here. We're talking about the caging of a human being who has committed no crime. Now here's Officer John Harris.
Well, I'm the one that they called the cops on. I guess they buzzed the cops on. And I parked right out here. And I was asking about the parking situation. Apparently we can park across the street. Because I mean, you know about the 2-hour signs, right? The 2-hour limits. Are you blocking me from exiting?
I'm trying to figure out why I'm being called.
Okay, well, I guess you want to talk to, yeah, all right, fine.
Have a seat for me.
You want to talk to the,
Have a seat for me.
what's the problem? What's the crime?
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Have a seat
Well,
for me.
I've been sitting in my car for all morning. I just want to,
Okay.
I mean, I'll move over if you're afraid I'm going to escape. I mean, am I being detained?
You're not being detained?
What's the, yeah, these guys talk to him. What's the deal?
We're just trying to figure out what your concern is.
Okay, so she gave her side, and you got a full scope of what she said.
No, I'm asking you what your concern is. Why you're...
No, are you satisfied with her story, I guess?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah,
So,
so you understand where she's coming from, and my side is I'm interested in finding a good parking spot.
okay. There's 2 lots right here if you're looking for on-square.
Yeah, and if we could walk out there, I mean, I'll show you where I'm parked.
But where were you parked?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Just show me right here.
Am I being detained for a crime?
We're trying to figure out what...
Now look at Officer Harris's symbol here. He's got the blue line symbol of thuggery.
Well, then it'd probably be easier to like point from the closer area to this parking where I'm at and where I can park outside. You guys prefer to talk inside?
Yeah, it's cold outside.
Oh, it's because, okay, well, that's reasonable, I guess. All right. Well, I'm parked there, and I mean, I want to go to the library to hang out, but I'm afraid I might stay longer than 2 hours. So, I mean, I just, I'm parked here, and I figure maybe I could just.
We're not sure what your concern is what...
This is a 2-hour parking. I'll get a ticket for 2-hour parking. You know what?
Get a ticket for 2-hour parking.
Okay, so I guess I didn't ask the question directly. Will I get a ticket for parking longer than 2 hours? The answer is no. Okay, well then that settles it.
All right. Do you have your driver's license on your...
What's
driver's license?
What is it?
So I can identify you. Make sure you don't have any warrants.
Well, I mean,
Anytime a cop asks you for your ID, he is literally violating his oath to the Fourth Amendment. This man has the right to be secure in his person, houses, papers, and effects. So when some cop asks you for your ID, he's actually asking you to be insecure in your person. There's no reason for them to be identifying this man. All he had was a question. The cops were called. The matter was settled. Well, there you go. There you have it. That's all I needed. I'm not going to get a ticket for being there beyond 2 hours. Okay, great. We're done. Oh, no, we're not done. We need to see your ID. We need to violate your security to be secure in your person.
first we have to establish a crime.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Making contact with you is good enough.
Yeah, that's fine. And you can make contact.
Hey, I've been called here.
Making contact with you is good enough, according to Officer John Harris from the Bethany, Missouri Police Department.
Contact with you.
Okay.
Yes, Officer Harris.
Well, who's the caller?
If you're failing, they are.
Well, no, they were the buzzer. They buzzed,
if
right?
you are failing to identify yourself to me and not give me your ID,
Yeah.
I will take you to jail.
If you want a crime.
Oh, you wanna charge me with a crime?
If you don't identify yourself,
We want to identify you.
Well, I don't.
Where's your
That's.
driver's
I'm sorry, but I have to enforce my Fourth Amendment rights. So
Okay. Well,
I don't understand.
You have the right to
If you
identify
think
yourself to me.
if you
So
think
where's your ID?
if you think your prosecutor's gonna back you up on that, they want to follow through on this charge. We'll see how those arguments go.
Yeah.
They tend not to go too well in your favor.
Okay.
Just doing this.
Well,
What, a charge of what?
Do you not want to give me your driver's license?
Well, do you want to give me your driver's license?
I don't have to give you my driver's
Well,
license.
I don't understand why you can't
Because
give
I'm
me.
making contact with you.
That's a perfect example of a cop believing he has a higher claim over your life and property than you. It goes for you. You have to obey the laws, but I don't have to. You have to obey me. You have to submit to me. You have to comply, but I don't have to comply with any of your demands. This is an example of a man believing he has more rights than another man.
I'm making contact with you.
I'm going to run
And
and make
these
sure
two.
there's no warrants.
Let me get all your Harris.
Yep, I'm Harris.
I guess I'm gonna have to get familiar with who you guys are. May I get your name?
Trevor Place, I'm the sheriff.
Trevor Place, and you're the actual sheriff, not not just a deputy.
No.
Okay. All right. PLACE. Is that okay? And then your name?
Brandon York.
York. Okay. YORK.
Y-O-R-K, yeah.
Okay. All right. So making contact is not what the RAS or whatever. It's just making contact. You can make contact with anybody. You don't need to just. Are you asking ID
Sir,
for your own curiosity,
no,
or for the betterment of the
We were called over here because there was someone that was irate.
irate?
There you go.
Okay, we don't know before we
Yeah,
get here.
yeah.
What I'm telling
You were
is
buzzed too.
we weren't buzzed.
Oh, you were actually called. They didn't have a buzzer. Oh,
There's like 8 or 10 people back here that could call. So
okay.
the reason we're asking for your ID is because a crime has been committed. We're not
Oh.
trying to charge you with one.
Well, if you think you want to follow through on charging me with a crime, I mean, see what your prosecutor, your city prosecutor would want to, go through.
So here's the question: is why don't you identify yourself? We'll all move on.
Well, why don't we establish the crime? And we got a Fourth Amendment here. We got to get through here. All right.
Look at that.
And-
Did you see his face? He looked down and kind of rolled his eyes and made that body language of, Fourth Amendment. Oh, you're one of those guys. Gotcha.
I mean, there's steps to take with that. If you want to fully charge me with a crime, then I guess you'll have to arrest me, and follow through on that. If you think that's what your city prosecutor is going to support you on. I mean, this is a contact thing. I was just asking about parking. This would be laughed out of court, Harris. But if you want to follow through.
Yeah. Are you failing to give me your ID?
Are you failing to give me your ID?
Are you failing to give me your ID?
Okay, I'm willing to exchange IDs.
Here we go. Face
All
the
right.
wall. There you go.
All right.
Put your phone down. Face the wall.
No good cop on the scene to
You're
step
taking this.
in.
What's that?
Place your hands behind your back.
All right, you're taking this way beyond than it needs to go.
No, actually, I'm not.
You're not? Oh, okay. Well, your city prosecutor's probably going to be really happy with you. So the crime.
Got one in custody right now.
A simple contact has to turn into an arrest.
You don't want to comply? That's what
Comply. Where's your ID, Harris?
You don't need my ID.
Harris, you don't need my ID either then.
Phone's in your pocket. Let's go.
And that is the arrest of Travis Hines in Bethany, Missouri, for having committed no crime. He will then spend 24 hours in jail and be charged, I think it's $550. We'll skip ahead to this right here. We'll show you the charges, and we'll show you the people who brought the charge against him. They're the people who brought the charge against him. These are the witnesses against Travis Hines, who committed no crime and recorded the entire thing. And these people are going to send out an affidavit and a court order lying about him. The range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor is imprisonment in the county jail or other authorized penal institution for a term not to exceed 1 year by a fine to not exceed $2,000 or by both imprisonment and a fine. And that is called deprivation of rights under color of law and conspiracy against rights on camera. I would say legally, from the legal perspective, it looks like, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not giving any kind of legal advice, it looks like Bethany, Missouri would be in some pretty hot legal water, having deprived a man of his rights for doing nothing more than simply asking questions about 2-hour parking signs and being concerned about getting a fine should he go beyond the hours of the parking sign. So leave your thoughts about this. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to State of Missouri versus Travis Hines is the name of the YouTube channel. If you want to support him, you know, let him know that Brian from Here's the Deal sent you. And I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.